Good morning and a very warm welcome. You are watching Janata Television and this is the English Bulletin with me, Sushant Dhakal. The top stories first. Prime Minister Olis advisors contract coronavirus. NC leader Gagan Thapa also infected. Government confirms over 2,000 new cases of coronavirus in the country. Nepal poised to surpass China with the current rate of infection. NCP Secretariat meeting scheduled for today afternoon. The meeting will discuss about cabinet reshuffle. India's coronavirus death toll passes 100,000, reports highest daily infection in the world. And Manchester City's stuttering start to the season continues. Everton tops the Premier League table with 12 points. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Oli's advisor test positive for coronavirus. PM to undergo test again. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli's advisor have been infected with coronavirus. Bishnu Rimal, Chief Advisor to PM Oli, and Press Advisor Surya Thapa have tested positive for the disease. Their swab samples were tested on Friday and the report turned out positive. PM's press advisor Thapa informed about the infection through his social media handle. Thapa has urged everyone who came in contact with him to monitor their health carefully. It has been learned that Prime Minister Oli will undergo PCR test again after his aides tested positive. He had recently tested negative for the disease. Meanwhile, his advisors have shared the news over social media and have asked those who had recently come into their contact to monitor their health situation. 4 Central Committee members of Nepali Congress, including former Health Minister Gagan Thapa, have tested positive for coronavirus. Several office staff of NC and security personnel of the leaders have also tested positive for the disease. PCR report on Saturday confirmed the disease among Thapa, former Minister Arjun Narsingh-Kesi, as well as Central Committee members Kalpana Chaudhary and Sambhu Lal Shrestha. After the confirmation, leaders Thapa and Kesi have self-isolated themselves. Thapa confirmed the infection through social media and urged through Twitter to everyone who came in contact with him to remain alert. PCR test taken at party office has confirmed that I have contracted COVID-19. My health condition is normal. I have isolated myself at home, Thapa tweeted. He further urged those who had come in contact with him in recent days to take necessary precautions and consult health workers if they display any symptoms of the disease. Health authorities have confirmed 2,120 new cases of coronavirus across the country during the latest round of tests. As of today, the total number of infection in the country has reached 84,570. Nepal is currently 2 spots behind China, where the disease is believed to have originated, and 1 behind Japan in terms of the number of infections reported so far. With the current rate of infection, Nepal is poised to overtake China in the number of infection within a day. China has so far reported 85,434 cases, while the daily infection rate has dropped to 10 cases. On the other hand, Nepal's daily cases is over 2,000 since the last few days. Till date, 62,740 people have recovered from the disease in Nepal, claimed government officials. The active cases of coronavirus across the country stands at 21,302, according to the spokesperson of Health Ministry, Dr. Jageshwar Gautam. The ministry yesterday confirmed the deaths of 8 persons due to coronavirus. The death toll from coronavirus in the country has climbed to 528. This is Janata Bulletin. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back after the break. We continue with other national news. The secretariat meeting of the ruling Nepal Communist Party scheduled for yesterday has been postponed. Chairman duo KP Sharma Oli and Pushpa Kamal Dahal had agreed to call the secretariat meeting yesterday. Party spokesperson Narayan Kaji Shrestha informed that the meeting has been rescheduled for 4 p.m. today. The meeting is likely to discuss the issues of political appointments of the government and other agendas prepared earlier. Discontent is rife within the ruling party due to the political appointments made by the government. The meeting will also discuss the issue of reshuffling the cabinet. Former Prime Minister Baburam Bhattarai has lashed out at the government for its attempts to appoint a person who had lost election at a time when it should have been focused on controlling coronavirus pandemic. Bhattarai claimed that the government has shown no interest in addressing the problems faced by the people affected by the pandemic. On the other hand, the Olis government is focused on reinstating a leader who had lost election, said Bhattarai, pointing out to Bamdev Gautam. Speaking with agitating reporters yesterday, Bhattarai said that the government has displayed irresponsible attitude by wasting time in unnecessary matters. Such attitude of the government is certain to undermine the rule of governance in the country, he said. The agitating reporters have been on relay hunger strike since the last 4 days after being fired from their jobs under the pretext of coronavirus crisis. And now the news from the economic front. With the festive season right around the corner, the credit flow from the banks and financial institutions have started to rise. The Bankers Association has said the increase in the credit flow can be attributed to the upcoming festive season and the end of the months-long lockdown and prohibitory order. Drop in interest rates, increase in economic activities, and the nearing festivities have given people more confidence in taking out loans from banks and financial institutes. From the second week of September to the end of the month, the credit investment of commercial banks has increased by rupees 25 billion. The deposit collection has also increased by around rupees 37 billion in the 2 weeks, as banks and financial institutions have also increased interest rates on deposits. Until 25th of September, commercial banks have collected rupees 35.32 trillion in deposits and have invested rupees 29.29 trillion in loans. Chief of the Banking and Financial Institutions Regulation Department of Nepal Rashtra Bank, Dev Kumar Dakal, said that he was happy that the demand for loans was increasing, and with the situation improving over time, the economic activities will continue to increase. Time for a short break here at Janata Bulletin. Stay tuned for international and sports news. Welcome back, and now the international news. India's death toll from the novel coronavirus rose past 100,000 on Saturday. According to Reuters, India is only the third country in the world to reach the bleak milestone after the United States and Brazil. The news agency reported that the epidemic shows no sign of abating in India. Total deaths in India rose to 100,842, while the tally of infections climbed to 6.47 million. According to Reuters, India now has the highest rate of daily increase in infections in the world. The government, faced with a collapsing economy, is pushing ahead with a full opening of the country. Cinemas were allowed to reopen at half capacity this week, and authorities can decide to reopen schools from the middle of this month. Heading into winter and festive season, the world's second most populous country could see a jump in cases, health experts said. The number of cases could rise to 12.2 million by the end of the year, but the rate of spread could depend on how effective measures are taken. US President Donald Trump is not yet on a clear path to recovery from COVID-19, according to Reuters. Some of his vital signs over the last 24 hours were very concerning, reported the news agency, citing a person familiar with the situation. The source, who asked not to be identified, said the next 48 hours will be critical in terms of Trump's care. The assessment seemed at odds with that of Trump's doctors during a press conference. Meanwhile, Trump said from his hospital room on Saturday that he felt much better, but the next few days will be the real test of his treatment for COVID-19. You're watching Janata Bulletin, and now the latest from the world of sports. Manchester City remain 11th in the Premier League as they draw away to Leeds United at the Elland Road. Leeds United came from a goal behind to secure a thoroughly deserved point against a City side which has been struggling to find form. The Citizens lost last week to Leicester City, and a draw this week means they are 11th in the Premier League table with 4 points. Leeds United manager Marco Bielsa got the better of his protege Pep Guardiola in the battle of the wits between the two managers. The game's first goal came after the 17th minute from an in-form Raheem Sterling, with City coming out on top from the kickoff. However, as the game wore on, Leeds United came back into the game and scored in the 59th minute through Rodrigo Moreno and shared the spoils with the Citizens. In other matches, Chelsea scored 4 goals without reply against Crystal Palace. New signing Ben Chilwell scored a goal and produced an assist for the Blues. Everton's Dominic Calvert-Lewin continued on his hot form, scoring in the 16th minute, followed by a brace from James Rodriguez and Yerry Mina goal against Brighton. The win takes Everton to the top of the Premier League table with 12 points. We are at the end of Janata Bulletin, and the headlines once again. Prime Minister Olis advisors contract coronavirus. NC leader Gagan Thapa also infected. Government confirms over 2,000 new cases of coronavirus in the country. Nepal poised to surpass China with the current rate of infection. NCP secretariat meeting rescheduled for today afternoon. The meeting will discuss about cabinet reshuffle. India's coronavirus death toll passes 100,000, reports highest daily infection in the world. And Manchester City's stuttering start to the season continues. Everton tops the Premier League table with 12 points. And that's all from the English News Desk for today. You can follow Janata Television and our various programs on social media platforms, including on our website janatasamachar.com. Keep watching Janata Television. Namaste.